the quarterback making his first playoff start that you trust the most. And they are Brock Purdy, the PFT Offensive Rookie of the Year, Geno Smith, who may have been the comeback player of the year, but Charean decided to go in a different direction because coming back from sucking, as Charean would say, is not sufficient comeback to win the award. Daniel Jones, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. So 5 in all. Also, Skylar Thompson and Tyler Huntley. That takes it all the way. Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's half the field for crying out loud. Okay, which one making his first start this weekend do you trust the most?
Well, I think you have to go with Brock Purdy, Mike, simply because he has the best team around him. The 49ers have won 10 in a row. He's never lost a game. So I'm going with him for obvious reasons. I just think he's played really well. I think he has a chance to do something that no rookie quarterback has ever done. And he certainly has a chance to get to the championship game where the likes of Sanchez, Flacco, Roethlisberger, Sean King, Pat Hayden, and Dieter Brock have gotten as rookies. I don't think there's any question that they'll be favored to do that and maybe take that next step and get to the Super Bowl. But Brock Purdy, to me, is the easy answer, even though Geno Smith of that group is the Pro Bowler out of that group. Well, Justin Herbert, too. But I'm going to say Brock Purdy simply because I like the team. I just think they're good.
I trust Brock Purdy if the machine runs the way it's supposed to. Now, if you get into a situation where you're down 4 points in the final 2 minutes and you got to get down the field and score, so you got to throw, I don't know that I'd trust Purdy because I haven't seen him do it. I've seen Justin Herbert do it, even though the game didn't work out for them. Remember that last game of the regular season, 2021? Justin Herbert converting all those fourth downs, kind of maturing before our eyes. I trust him because we've seen how he plays in the moments where the season is hanging in the balance. Even though the team around him didn't deliver, I trust him to deliver in those moments, and maybe he can elevate the Chargers to a victory over the Jaguars. That would be my thought.
The one thing I worry about with him, though, Mike, is if he doesn't have Mike Williams, who hasn't practiced this week, just that receiving core not being quite at the level, because we did see him struggle some this year when he didn't have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mike Williams injured in that meaningless game against the Broncos. We'll see whether or not he's even available. All right, wild card underdog, your most confident will pull off the upset. And we know they happen. Good luck picking the ones that actually will occur. But we've got some big underdogs, and we've got the spread as small as the Jaguars, 2-point home underdogs against the LA Chargers. Which underdog are you most confident will pull off the win?
I went back and forth between the Jaguars and the Buccaneers, but I think I'm going to go with the Jags simply because they're at home. They've won 5 in a row. They killed the Chargers on September 25th. So I think I'm gonna lean toward the Jaguars over the Buccaneers, even though they're also at home. But I think both of those teams, of all the teams in the postseason, I think those two teams have the best shot at pulling off the first-round upset.
I neglected to mention the Buccaneers are also 2.5-point home underdogs. I'll take the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are winning that game. I would give 2.5 points. I think on grass, a point that Jason Garrett has made about the Cowboys, they don't perform as well on grass. This is Tom Brady's 48th playoff game. The Cowboys have not looked great lately, and they can talk about and it's the Cowboys are very good at coming up with an excuse or a justification or glass half full for whatever it is that happens. Fine. Go beat Tom Brady on his own field in what could be his last game with the Buccaneers if he doesn't win, and very well will be his last game in that stadium even if they do win. I don't see it happening for the Cowboys on Monday night. So there are 3 games I feel pretty good about picking out of the 6 on Super Wildcard Weekend. I just need to figure out who I like in the other 3. But I definitely like, well, you know what? I'm up to 4. I like the 49ers. I like the Bucks. I like the Bills. And I like the Bengals. So I just have to make some tough decisions on a handful. Best possible Super Bowl matchup as we enter this 14-team playoff field. Charean, what's your pick?
Well, Mike, you know, before the season, we always make our preseason predictions. And I picked, as did Josh Alper, the only 2 people who picked it, an Eagles-Bills Super Bowl. So Of course, I would have bragging rights along with Josh for the rest of the year, so that's the only reason I'm looking forward to that.
Nobody cares.
I care.
Nobody cares about your fantasy team or your preseason predictions. Yes.
But you know what, Mike?
I
would be happy with any. I'd be happy with any of those three AFC teams: the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals. Any of those, I would be extremely happy with. And I'm looking forward to, as we talked about earlier, that Bills-Bengals matchup that we all anticipate, as well as the AFC Championship game. I look forward to that. Whichever one of those teams gets there, we anticipate that being against the Chiefs. So that, to me, any of those three teams with those three quarterbacks, I would be excited about.
I picked the Chiefs to win it all, and they're still very much alive, obviously. The only problem is I picked them to beat the Packers in the Super Bowl and to beat the Colts in the AFC Championship. So forget about those two matchups. But I think the best would be the annual Chris Berman prediction from, I think, pretty much every year of the 90s. He picked Bills 49ers every year as his preseason Super Bowl prediction, thinking it was inevitable they'd cross paths, and they never did. I think Bills 49ers would be a great matchup. Although a Bills Vikings rematch would be something. I just have a feeling it wouldn't go like the last one did. I think this would be 65-7. You know, what's waiting for the Vikings eventually and inevitably is the kind of ass kicking they took against the Cowboys, the Packers, and to a lesser extent the Lions. It was a closer game, but it still felt like they got their butt kicked all over the place, and the Eagles. I just feel like at some point, wild card, divisional, conference championship, Super Bowl, there's going to be a massive blowout of the Vikings. And fittingly, they wear purple just like TCU does. And we saw what happened to them on Monday night. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.